Hi, Bernadette. I'm here.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Brenda. I'm with OACAC.
Hey, Brenda, thanks for having us today.
Oh, yeah, thank you. For whatever reason, my video does not want to start.
All
Worst
right.
case scenario, I'm going to back out and try again. My camera has been a little recalcitrant lately.
No problem.
I'm supposed to
Um,
share some slides.
I
So,
I was supposed to have another person with me, but we have been having bad storms here, and she's without power.
okay. So, okay. Now let's see. Hey, there I am. Sweet. I
Excellent.
think there's just something with the connection in that particular spot. I keep moving it, and this one works, but the rest of them, eh. So, yeah, there are a couple of slides that I'll shot. Is this your first one? Have you done a few with Handshake?
I have
Or not Handshake?
done. I did another with Stripe Scan the other day.
Okay,
But I had a second person with me, so it did make it a little easier.
okay. All right. So you know that the session will be 45 minutes. It's recorded. You'll get a list of attendees afterwards. It should be within a week. And you'll also get a transcript of any questions that are put in there at the same time. If you are playing a video, are you?
I'm not going to play the video today. I'm just going to share slides.
Okay, and you can practice sharing your screen if you want. You have access to that. Um,
Super.
since you're not a panel, muting yourself while not actively speaking is a little silly. If there are student questions, you can answer them as you go, or you can hold them till the end. That's your, yep, I see Division 1, Division 2, Division 3.
Beautiful. Perfect.
Perfect. Um, and you should see yourself off to the side.
Yep. Good.
Okay, great. And if you do answer questions, as I said, you can do them verbally as you go through. You can type whichever you want to do. That's totally up to you. That's under your control. I will show a slide at the beginning and welcome everyone. And then I will turn it over to you. And then it will go for 45 minutes. If you end up going over the 45 minutes, I will stop your screen share and just show the slide. If it's less than 45 minutes, let me know. And then we will just share the end slide and we'll wrap it up. So,
Great. But when I did the other day, we did it in about 43.
oh,
We
good
got,
for you.
yeah, I mean, we didn't have a lot of participants, so we didn't need a lot of Q&A time, but we made up some questions because we didn't get it.
Yeah, I always think of those most common student questions.
Mhm.
So,
Exactly.
uh,
Exactly.
that is cool. Actually, I've had a couple of people graduate from Hampshire. It's
Oh,
been a while, but they both love their experience and
oh, that's great.
perfect fits for them.
That's really good. Yeah, we're not for everybody, but it is often a good fit for those who come. So that's great.
Yeah, yeah, they
Love
both
to
love
hear
it.
that.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I actually wanted to fix something in my presentation, and while I have 30 seconds, I might actually try to do that.
You have 6 minutes.
I do. Well, it never feels like 6 minutes once I try that. I keep losing it. I'm not really sure why it's doing what it's doing. But um, how much do you work for StriveScan?
I don't. I'm actually an
Oh,
OACAC member.
oh, I see. Okay, sorry. The last one I did, it was a StriveScan person that was doing it, and another one that I was going to do, they were saying was a StriveScan one. So
Yeah. StriveScan is our platform. They're the ones who are handling everything about, they send out a link, they send out a reminder to let you know that you're doing something. And they do keep track of it. For example, if somebody, for whatever reason, can't get on, they will jump in and start the session. And then if the person who's supposed to do it comes on, it helps. But yeah, we're all volunteers. We just slotted times.
that's great.
Yeah, what's a nice way to get our membership involved in case they
Yeah.
sometimes come to other things.
Yep. Good. All right. Is this the right one? This is the right one. Let's see if I can insert what I'm looking for. Uh, Boy, I tell you. Um, it's not at all what I wanted. There we go. Ah, beautiful.
Yay.
All right. We just redid our slide presentation because we didn't like the way it was happening. You know, just sort of like, how do we update it? Let's make it a little fresher. And I wanted a better opening slide. If I share this, would you just tell me if you're seeing, oh, why is that happening? Huh, do you? And there it goes away. All righty. Sorry. I'm going to share this once more just to practice. Actually, that's not what I want. Sorry. I want to get rid of all of these. All right, let's try this again. Look, I still have 3 minutes.
You do. Very efficient.
Look at that. And there's my Hampshire logo. But it's not letting me, yeah, there we are. It's like it was not letting me use my things. All right. Do you mind if I just keep it on this and start like this?
You can, but I have to do the intro
Oh,
slide.
right. I'm sorry. Right.
That's okay.
My brain is, it's been a long morning already.
I understand. Totally understand.
Did you have other events this morning, or is this your?
This is the first one of these this morning.
Right.
And then I have a 3-hour college fair. I also am a faculty member at University of Dayton.
Yep.
And so it's a faculty, I'm representing our department at a graduate student fair, but virtually.
Yep.
And that's through Handshake.
Right.
And so that was a little bit of a hassle to set up, but it's 3 hours of being available. Just see how that goes.
Yeah, one of our counselors had done an international event where he was available.
Yeah.
And he said it was long and tedious and actually not as well attended as he had hoped.
Yeah. Yeah. Face to face is one thing, but with so many people, and it's, this one goes from 3 to 6. So I think they're trying to overlap some of those people getting off of workspaces, but
yep.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's sort of, so many of the faculty teach. My classes are this semester, one is completely online and the other is, the others are on Monday and Tuesday. So as one of the people who didn't teach on Wednesday, they said, hey, would you mind doing this?
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah. But it's just, some of these weeks. I think yesterday I was on Zoom in one way or another for about 12 hours. So I was a little burned out.
My longest has been 7.5 out of 9 hours. That was more than enough.
Yes.
So.
And we're doing this to our kiddos.
It's pretty crazy, actually. I don't know how they're doing it. I have to be honest. I don't. All right, how much time do I have? Do I have 1 minute?
Just a little less than a minute.
Half a minute. Perfect. At least today my cat's not inside bothering me. He likes to, she seems to have an inside scoop to my calendar and shows up. So, all right.
All right. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Ohio students. You are in webinar mode, so your camera and microphone are off. You are muted, your video is off. The panelists cannot see you or hear you. If you have questions, please use the Q&A button at the bottom to type your questions to the presenters at any time during the presentation. A recording of this session will be available at www.oacac.org in about a week. If you are interested in signing up for more college presentations, please check out the schedule at www.oacac. This morning, I'd like to welcome you to a session on Hampshire College, and here we go.
Good morning. My name is Bernadette Burke, and I am an Assistant Director of Admissions at Hampshire. I've been with Hampshire for just about a year now, and Hampshire does a lot of things differently than many other schools do. One thing that we like to highlight is that we have a very student-driven model. Students are able to choose their concentration, make combinations of concentrations. We don't use the phrase majors. We use student-driven concentration as one of our most common phrases. We have a very strong advising system. All students are offered advising from their first day through their last day at Hampshire. In the beginning, especially, it's a very scaffolded advising system. All of our faculty are advising members, meaning that every professor that's teaching a class is really invested in the work that you're doing. Additionally, you work with that advisor to do an end of year portfolio in your first year, and then at the end of your third year, and again at the end of your fourth year. And I'll get into those a little bit more. One of the things that make us very different than most colleges is the divisional system. And I would love to go into much greater depth than I'll be able to get into here, but our division system is set up so that you can break your 4 years into 3 sections. So Division 1 is the first year, Division 2 is second and third year, and Division 3 is your 4th year. In Division 1, we have very few requirements of students. What we like them to do is to explore, take a variety of classes, look at what's most interesting to them. We have 2 requirements, and that is that you take a seminar each of your first year semesters, so that's just 2 required classes, and then we have something that we call campus engaged learning, and that is 40 hours over the entire school year, so very, very easy to work through that. Most of our students are actually finished with that by about October or November. And what we ask you to do within that 40 hours is to break up 20 hours of it, excuse me, should be in some type of intercultural awareness. So that could be non-Western perspectives, race in the United States or in other countries, or how knowledge and power play into policy and how that affects underrepresented or other cultures than what your own culture is. For our first year seminars, which is the academic component, we have 4 different opportunities for you to be exploring. And we have something that's called learning collaboratives. At Hampshire College, learning collaboratives are a very new but innovative way of bringing together professors as well as students within a new learning model. And instead of having individual schools such as the School of Mathematics or the School of Business, we've broken it down into 4 areas that we are hoping students will look at these areas as opportunity for changing the world. And those areas are environments and change, injustice and justice, media and technology, and time and narrative. And the seminars are based in one of those 4 topics. And throughout your first year at Hampshire, you will also be invited to participate in any workshops or seminars that are connected to those learning collaboratives. So if you are taking your first year seminar in environments and change, then if there are speakers that are coming as part of that, you would be invited to that. And the idea is to break down the barriers, not just among the schools, but also among different classes within Hampshire's student body, meaning that first year students will have much more opportunity of interacting with second, third, and fourth year students within the learning collaboratives. And so in order to do that, we offer a really wonderful opportunity through both the advising system and those seminars to connect to many different opportunities on campus. At the end of your first year, you will put together a portfolio, and that portfolio consists of your most important work, the types of classes that you've taken, any course papers or projects that you feel are important, and you also write a retrospective about what your first year has meant to you and the connections you've made within each of your classes. But most importantly, you'll also be able to bring together your narrative evaluations. And that's another thing that makes Hampshire stand out among different types of colleges, is that we do not give letter grades, we only give narrative evaluations. And what that does is it breaks down the barriers between students and removes the competition between them. Rather than discussing a grade on a project, our students end up discussing the content. And that's what we want for you. We want you to really own your learning. We want you to be a part of the day-to-day decisions that you're making, rather than us dictate to you which classes you're taking and what you're going to be learning. We want you to take that ownership. And so in reflecting that in your narrative evaluations, it allows you to see the things that you've done well and the areas in which you can grow. And most often, your narrative evaluation will be anywhere from a paragraph to a page, meaning that when you get your final transcript, instead of it being just one page with a list of classes and a handful of grades, you actually come away with a booklet that discusses you as a learner from the beginning of your time at Hampshire through your last courses. And that means that it gets to show who you are and the growth that you've made as a college student. And then at the end of that first year, when you've gotten your first narrative evaluations, when you've gotten all of your coursework put together for your portfolio, your professors your advising professors will sit with you. They'll talk about next steps for you. What are you looking to learn? Now that you've taken a wide range of courses, where do you want to start focusing in? And that brings you into Division 2. And in Division 2, when you are looking at a standard college, they would call it, I guess they would usually say, declaring your major. At Hampshire, we like to say that you're refining your concentration. You're really starting to hone in on the areas that you want to learn about. And you do this by developing a Division 2 contract. And in looking at your Division 2 contract, you'll be asking questions about how the world works within the area that you're most interested in learning about. And in looking at that opportunity, it can be big questions about education or linguistics or history. It might be how media interacts with current events. And you will then start asking questions, and with your advisor, you will work on refining those questions and then deciding which types of learning activities would be best for you within that. Excuse me. And so you'll start making this as a roadmap. Where do you hope to go over the next 2 years during your Division 2 work? And in doing that, you both write those questions, as I said, but then you start talking with your advisor about the types of courses that would be best for you and the types of learning activities. And a learning activity can be anything from a seminar to a research opportunity or an assistantship. It can be study abroad. It might be field study or internship. And an additional opportunity besides the courses at Hampshire is the 5-college consortium. And I'm going to move forward a little bit through to explain the 5-college consortium is Hampshire College, Amherst College, Mount Holyoke College, Smith College, and the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, which is the flagship campus of our state university system. We're all within about 10 miles of one another. We have a free bus system that runs between each of the schools. We have a lot of opportunity, but best of all of the courses that you take at the other 4 colleges are included in your Hampshire tuition. So there's no extra charge, and it's very easy to sign up for those courses. On our website, just as you would sign up for a Hampshire course, you can click on any of the other colleges, look at their course schedule, or you can actually look at one full course schedule for all 5 colleges. Additionally, you have somewhere in between 5,000 to 6,000 courses per semester to choose from. You also have upwards of 800 clubs that you can join. On each of the campuses, you can participate as a full student on any of those campuses, except you can't live there, and neither can you join their NCAA sports because we're in the small college, the Yankee Small College Conference. So we're not in the same conference, and it wouldn't be your home school in order to do that. Another thing to know about the 5 College Consortium is that you have the opportunity to take graduate level classes. At Mount Holyoke, Smith, and UMass, they offer graduate level classes, and it does not cost you any more money. The other colleges limit, limit the number of classes any of their students can take within the 5 colleges. We do not limit that. We want you to have full access. We want you to have the opportunity that's most meaningful to you. And so while you're looking at your Division II work, I would like to go back to this slide for that reason. While you're looking at your Division II work, you have the opportunity to take these 5 college classes, as I said. And our only other requirement for you is that you participate in something called community engaged learning. Rather than campus engaged learning, this is bringing your volunteer work or anything else that you do about working, engaging in the community. It's beyond the campus, and that's all we're asking for. Again, we'd like you to look at this through a multicultural perspective, and that is looking at any perspective that is not based either in the United States or within the Western perspective. Again, race in the United States or other countries, how knowledge and power plays into any policies, decisions, and legislation that works. In addition, it's also about how do social structures work within knowledge and power. And while you're working through all of that, you have this contract that's acting as your roadmap, as I had mentioned earlier. The great thing about your contract is it's changeable. While you continue to take classes or have these learning opportunities, you might say, this class was way more interesting to me. I've learned a little bit about linguistics. I want to dive further into linguistics. And you might shift your contract just a little bit in order to add the possibility of maybe adding more linguistics understanding, or maybe adding cultural anthropology that supports the understanding of the linguistics. And that might not have been in your original contract, but it is absolutely encouraged to change, refine, create this as a living document that you are taking ownership of your knowledge, of your learning while at Hampshire College. And this is the model we're hoping that you will take away from Hampshire, that as you move through your life, you understand that you can try something new and shift a little bit, and try something new and add further to your knowledge constantly. With this contract, one of the best things is it really gives you the tools that you're looking to develop. As I said, for your future life, but also most especially while you're at Hampshire for your Division III work. So at the end of your Division II years, which again is your second and third year, you put together another portfolio. And that will include your narrative evaluations, your self-evaluations, and then any final projects and papers that are most meaningful to you, as well as any other work. So you might be writing a retrospective about field studies or a study abroad that you did, in addition to the way any of those projects that you've also submitted. And then you move on to Division 3. And Division 3 is the most, oh, sorry about that. Division 3 is the most exciting opportunity within Hampshire. Hampshire has a very different model in their fourth year. We don't call it junior, senior years. In your fourth year, not your senior year, you have the opportunity of developing some type of new knowledge. And this new knowledge really can be anything from a scientific experiment to writing a graphic novel. And all of those have happened with our Division 3 students. And what you do during your Division 3 work is anything from formal coursework to more field research. You might actually be developing something, building something, creative something, writing something. So we have had students do everything from writing a play, performing the play, directing more than one play, and sometimes people work collaboratively in that way. We have had students do scientific experiments that end up getting peer reviewed, as well as getting published. We have had students create radio documentaries. We've had students write business plans and help a business actually start up and open. These are real life problems that students want to be solving, and that's exactly what we're asking of you. We're asking you to take this knowledge and bring it into the world. And there are so many opportunities to do that. You do write basically a Division 3 contract, similar to your Division 2. It usually is a little bit more refined than your Division 2 work, but again, it is possible to shift it as you're moving through and refine that work and develop something that maybe you started off with one idea and you shift a little bit along the way. That's totally reasonable. During this past year with COVID, we had many people that needed to shift the way they were presenting their Division 3 work. And that is one of those things at Hampshire. It is not only about the outcome, it is about the work that you put in. And I have heard more than one student say, what you put into Hampshire, you get out of Hampshire. And yes, there's people that move through and they take coursework and they look at new learning, but they're not taking the kind of ownership that might be possible. And so for many of our students, the more they dive into their Division 3 project, the more they're going to get out of it. One recent graduate, he graduated in May. He had developed a gallery show connecting his work as a historian as well as an artist. So he is a sculpture artist, and he was studying the connections between Mexico and Central America. And he was looking both politically as well as socially how the entities within each of those areas were connected, how their indigenous peoples are connected, but then how breaking the areas up into countries divided and started to put some barriers between them. So, excuse me. So the gallery show that he created had a sculptural piece representing each of the areas in which he was studying for Mexican history. And so you can see that there's this really lovely combination of different learning opportunities, but bringing it together to a full one singular presentation that's connecting both of them. So to discuss what your requirements are during Division 3, what we like to say is you'll take about 2 to 3 formal classes. We like 2 of them to be some type of advanced learning opportunity or educational activity, and that can be a graduate level class. It can be a TAing a class, even teaching a class. It's not very common in most schools for undergraduates to be teaching or TAing a class, but that is actually possible at Hampshire. And then we ask you to take on new learning opportunities that are equal to about 6 to 8 academic courses, depending on what you're studying. And you would work with your advisor to determine which of those are the best opportunities for you. I feel like I'm going very, very fast, but I like to leave opportunity for me to talk about our learning collaboratives and other things. I'm going to stop doing my screen share for now. Actually, let me cover one more slide first. I'm going to talk a little bit about our application process so that you know this. Our application process is fairly simple. And this year, especially for all of you seniors right now, your junior year was disrupted. Your senior year is not starting off as easily as everybody would like. We know that this is a really challenging time. So we have tried to bring together a much easier way of going through the application process. One of the things is that we do not ask you for an application fee. We're on the Common App. We only require the Common App essay. We have a supplemental essay you're welcome to fill out, but you do not have to. We do ask for 2 recommendations. We definitely would love a teacher recommendation. Having a teacher recommendation really shows who you are. For many schools, especially if the college counselor is very busy, they may not know you as well, and they do not get as personal and share that information that really gets us to understand who you are. And then we also request, or rather allow, that it's not really a request, it's that we allow parents and other folks to also write a letter of recommendation for you. So we definitely want the teacher recommendation, and we would like a college counselor recommendation, but you're also welcome to ask a parent who is likely your biggest cheerleader. And have them write a recommendation and talk about all the extra things that you've done, who you are as a person. We really love that. We also look at you, we also offer you the opportunity to submit portfolio information. That can look like anything from pictures of artwork that you've done, a writing sample. It could be links to a video. Maybe you've created some type of movie or done a performance. You're welcome to submit anything like that. You can either submit it directly to your the admissions counselor at Hampshire College, or you can put it through the portal, and we're very, very happy to take any of that. We really look at you as a holistic person. We want to know everything about you. One of the best things that we feel is we are test blind. That means we never see your SAT or ACT scores. For those of you who are great test takers, we know you really want to share that info. But what we have found and what we know historically is they're not actually equitable tests. And there are many parts of the population that don't have the same kind of access. And it doesn't really tell us that much more about you. So we have been test blind for about 5 years now. We know many schools now are being either test blind or test optional, which is really an advantage. Many students don't test well, and we feel like we want to know more about the coursework that you've taken, what types of extracurricular activities you've done. If you are helping a family member, list it as as an extracurricular activity? Are you making dinner 3 times a week for the family because somebody is working late? Are you tutoring a younger sibling? Are you taking care of a sick grandparent or somebody in your household? Tell us about that. We want to know about that. That to us makes you a more rounded person than just what your SAT score might say. So we feel very strongly about that. Also, we do have both early action, early decision, as well as regular decision. If you don't know, we're happy to discuss it a little bit more, but I'll just give you the brief aspects in case you're not completely sure. Early action is when you have made a commitment to a college. If you say, I'm applying to Hampshire College Early Action, it means that if we accept you as a student, you absolutely tell every other school, I'm no longer interested, please withdraw my application, and you make a commitment to Hampshire right from the beginning. We commit to you and you commit to us. Early decision is just that. You do not need to make a commitment to us, but if you get your materials in early enough, we will actually let you know our decision about admit a little bit earlier than our regular decision students. And then regular decision is just that. It's just under the normal guidelines, under the normal constraints of what a general application is for you. Sorry about that. I'm getting a little bit sidetracked with just being the only one here. So I'm going to stop my screen share and I will look at seeing if there is any questions right now. Nothing very specific, so I am going to go back to another screen share and share a little bit more about our learning collaboratives. And I'm going to go back to them. Sorry about that. It's not wanting me to go back right now. I'd like to talk a little more about the learning collaboratives, and I want to go to my first screen here. The learning collaboratives, as I was saying earlier, are a very, very different model than most schools offer. And as I had mentioned, the 4 topics are environments and change, and media and technology, time and narrative, justice/injustice. One of the things that we have developed along with these are sets of questions that we want our students to be thinking about. The questions are too big to be answering all at once, but it is the perspective that we'd like you to be looking at. So using environments and change, because it's at the top of my list, the question that we're asking most often is, how do we, as a group of humans, conceptualize and interact with environments, and what are the consequences? And so when you take a course, especially your first year seminar under environments and change, you will have 4 professors that are looking at different aspects of environment and how change is happening because of our environment from many different lenses. It might be the lens of scientifically what's actually happening on our Earth, on our planet in different regions. It might also be looking at it from an economic perspective. How does climate change and change within the environment change both the macroeconomics as well as microeconomics? Are there some areas that are benefiting from climate change rather than those areas that are actually being depleted from climate change? It might also be how the media and journalism is interacting with it. So while that could also go under media and technology, the idea under environments and change is there's a lot of different ways to be looking at a singular idea, and no problem ever gets solved from just one angle. So right now I'll use the pandemics as a great example. We're actually teaching our first year seminar was going to be something different. We actually shifted mid-semester to create a first year seminar around pandemics. And the pandemic seminar is looking at the medical aspect. How are we learning about the virus itself? How are we developing a vaccine for it? Then there's policy and procedure. How will we distribute the information? What types of legislation or policy is interacting with the way the pandemic is working its way both globally as well as through the United States? Then we'll also look at how the arts and media are discussing that topic. And so all of those are very interconnected, and that's what we're looking for our students to be really creating a framework of looking at topics from this big picture idea. So while students might be having an area of concentration within education, they also will be learning about the policy that helps drive educational opportunities across the world. They might be looking at different types of psychology that is embedded within educational frameworks. They might also be looking at specific content within education. Are they looking at, you know, specifics in math or specifics in science or the way the humanities are presented? So again, even within education, while we think of that as one singular topic, there's a lot of different ways to be looking at that info. Some of the questions that we most frequently get from students, I'm going to pull up a list of questions right now. Students are asking what types of study abroad opportunities are available at Hampshire College. So Hampshire has 10 specified study abroad, both domestic and international. Our most favored one is that we've been doing for a long time now is in Cuba, in Havana. And we even have a group of alum that go every winter and spend some time when our students are first arriving. There's a seminar that goes with it prior to going to Havana. So there's a lot of buildup for the opportunity to interact with the folks in Havana in a cultural and arts way. And it's a really wonderful opportunity. We also have study abroad in New Zealand, Germany, I believe Australia, a handful of others. Additionally, you can find your own study abroad, and our Global Education Office, also known as GEO, great acronym for that one, really will help you get all of the paperwork together, everything that you need to do in order to have it be part of your usually Division II work. Some students have done it early in their Division III work, but most commonly it's done during the Division II years. Also, you have an opportunity to utilize some of that study abroad, even within potentially your community engaged learning. So just to connect those two areas. More questions. What type of campus are we? So we happen to be in a fairly rural area. We are on 800 acres. We have a working farm, and we have even a set of pigs that are not common on most farms. And it's a very specific type of pig. And when the piglets are born in the spring, it's always actually a pretty exciting thing for all of us on campus. The interesting thing about being in a rural area, we do have as many, as I said, those 4 other colleges. So we have so many opportunities culturally, and then also just having outdoor activities. As I said, because we're in a rural area, we have a lot of hiking, biking, cross-country ski. There is downhill ski that's not far from us. We're close to the Berkshires, so there's an opportunity to participate in a lot of things in Western Massachusetts. Jumping around, more opportunities. People are asking about the 5-college consortium. So the 5-college consortium is really exciting. I usually show a video in the beginning of my info sessions that really talks about how Hampshire was founded. And Hampshire was actually founded by the other 4 colleges. So while that seems interesting that those colleges who already had some competition among them created another college that would seem like further competition. But instead of looking at it as competition, we look at it as a way to all grow together. The more we all offer, the more benefit all of our students get from it. With the 5 college consortium, as I had said earlier, you don't pay for extra courses, you can take any courses. Some of our professors work at more than one college, so they're very familiar with different college structures. One of the really nice things, and many of our students comment, that an opportunity to go between the colleges really shows adaptability between them and for them within the 4 other colleges. So the other colleges have much more lecture style classes for many, not all, but many of their classes are lecture style. They might tend to be a little bit more a standard format. They give letter grades, whereas Hampshire, you're getting your narrative evaluation, they're seminar style, and they tend to be more project-based rather than test taking. We don't offer very many tests at Hampshire at all. And so looking at that, it really shows an adaptability with our students. And when either graduate school or your future employer looks at your transcript from Hampshire College, what they see is adaptability. Students that can go from one type of learning environment to another, sometimes in the same morning, never mind the same day or the same week. They also see that you can adapt to different styles of being graded. You might get an A or a B in one class, and you might have a full page narrative from another class at Hampshire. And so there's a lot of opportunity for you to look towards how you can present yourself as a learner moving forward in life. We only have a few more minutes, so I would like to go over a few of our outcomes. I don't always love just reading off statistics, but there's statistics that really are meaningful. 65% of our alumni earn an advanced degree within 10 years of graduating Hampshire, and that's either a master's or a PhD level. In addition, we are in the top 3% of colleges that send students on to a graduate degree. We have 88% of our alumni land a job or are in college, in a graduate program within 6 months of graduating. 1 in 4 of our graduates, 25% of our graduates, go on to either start their own business or start a nonprofit. And to give you an example of that, Jose Fuentes, who is our now current Board of Trustees president, is also a founding member of Duolingo, the app for learning languages. And Jose Fuentes is an alum, and while he was studying behavioral economics and other things, he became part of this group as a startup with Duolingo and really is utilizing his understanding of the way people interact with materials to learn something new and how they interact with it. And that's just one of many, many, many examples of students going on to start either their own business or a nonprofit. We have had 24 alum be offered a Fulbright scholarship since 2011. That's a fairly large number for such a small school. To give you an idea of the number of graduate institutions that our students go on to participate in, Columbia University, the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, NYU, Harvard, Yale, Boston University, UC Berkeley, Cornell, Smith College, UCLA, University of Pennsylvania, MIT, Northeastern. And those were all just from 2019 graduates. So you can see that there's a pretty wide range of opportunities after graduating. And one of the opportunities that you should remember is because you come out with a Division III project rather than just a single page transcript, Hampshire's offering you a large transcript of really discussing who you are as a learner, who you are as a person. You have your Division 3 project. Many times that actually helps people get right into their field. They not only have working knowledge, but they actually have a tangible product to show that they know how to do this work. For many of you, you may or may not have heard of Ken Burns. He is a documentary filmmaker. He is a historian by his first designation of what he studied at Hampshire, but he also studied filmmaking. And while he was doing his Division 3 work at Hampshire, he was asked by a local organization to create a historic documentary about the working aspects of an area called Sturbridge Village. And in looking at Ken Burns's first documentary, which was a real life, really needed documentary for this educational group called Sturbridge Village, he was able to take that to PBS and say, I already have product. I know how to do this. I have done it. I have done it for an organization, and this is what my product is. And since then, close to 40 years now, Ken Burns has been making documentaries for PBS. Most recently, he did one on country music. He's done one on the Civil War. Excuse me, sorry. He also did a really fabulous one about the Vietnam War. He has done things about baseball, the national parks. I can't even come up with them all now because I don't have a list of all of Ken's work. But just giving you an example of how really taking tangible work and bringing it into the world allows you to have very much a growth opportunity and allows you to be in the world and bring your knowledge into action. That's what Hampshire's motto is bringing knowledge into action. And we hope that if you come and join us at Hampshire, we will get to spotlight you as an alum in the future. If there's anything we can do for you, please reach out anytime. My name is Bernadette Burke. Again, I am an Assistant Director of Admissions at Hampshire, and I am on the website if you would like to reach out to me, but you can also reach out to Burke, B-U-R-K-E, at hampshire.edu. And I would be happy to help you and connect you with the person who would be in your region. I believe it's Kiara, actually. She's really wonderful. She's also an alum of Hampshire. So she can really speak to the opportunities that it has given her and the way that she has grown as a person. I'm going to stop my screen share now and be able to wish you well and thank you all for joining me. And I do hope that if there's anything we can do, you'll reach out in the future.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your presentation. And thank you all for joining us. Once this window closes, you will have a quick 4-question survey, and you are welcome to sign up for more sessions at www.oacac.org, and the recording will be available in about a week. Thank you again for sharing your information about Hampshire College, and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.